Do you know why remarrying after 70 often leads to more regret than happiness? If you're over 70 and thinking about tying the knot again, this video might be the most important thing you watch today. At first, remarriage can seem like a second chance at happiness. But what if I told you that for many older adults, it becomes a source of stress, loss, and regret? The truth is, once you cross into your 70s, the risks of remarriage shift dramatically, and what once looked like love can quickly turn into financial chaos, emotional turmoil, or even legal disaster. This isn't about being negative or cynical. It's about being wise, prepared, and protecting the life you've worked so hard to build. Maybe someone's been pressuring you, or maybe you're just lonely and hoping for companionship. That's completely understandable. But before you walk down the aisle again, you need to hear these truths that too many seniors discover when it's already too late. This video is not to scare you, but to help you make the most informed, thoughtful decision for your future. So, if you've ever wondered whether remarriage in your later years is a good idea, stay with me because the final reason may completely change the way you think about love, trust, and independence after 70. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos that help you protect your peace, your health, and your legacy. Number 1. Financial vulnerability. Love in your 70s can feel like a beautiful second sunrise, warm, comforting, and full of hope. After years of loss or loneliness, the idea of having someone to share dinners with, talk to, and laugh beside again can seem like a blessing. But what many seniors don't realize is that remarriage at this stage can quietly unravel the financial stability they've spent a lifetime building. One simple signature on a marriage license can change how your money, assets, and benefits are protected. It's not about distrust or negativity, it's about understanding how the system works once you say, "I do," again. When you remarry, your finances often become legally intertwined with your new spouse's, even if you both agree to keep things separate. If that person has debts, unpaid medical bills, or adult children expecting financial support, you can suddenly find yourself responsible for more than you ever intended. Many older adults don't realize that remarriage can affect pension income, survivor benefits, and even eligibility for programs like Social Security or Medicaid. I've met people who remarried out of love, only to discover months later that their monthly income was reduced or that they no longer qualified for certain survivor benefits they had depended on. That kind of shock doesn't just hurt your wallet, it hurts your sense of security. Imagine spending years saving carefully, planning your will, and dreaming of leaving something behind for your children or grandchildren, only to find that remarriage redirects those assets to your new spouse by default. Even when both partners have the best intentions, legal and financial structures can create painful surprises. You might trust your partner completely, but once family expectations, stepchildren, or medical costs enter the picture, tensions can rise quickly. Love that once brought comfort can begin to bring quiet anxiety. I once heard the story of Ellen, a 74-year-old woman who remarried a kind man from her church group. They shared beautiful moments together, but within 2 years, she found herself dipping into her retirement savings to cover his medical debt. She had to change her will under pressure, and what started as companionship slowly turned into financial fear. Her children were heartbroken to see their mother's peace of mind slipping away. That's why, at this stage of life, financial safety is about much more than money, it's about independence, dignity, and being able to live on your own terms without worry. Before stepping into marriage again, take a deep breath and think about the years of hard work it took to build what you have. You've earned your stability, your freedom, and your peace. Love is beautiful, but it should never cost you the security you've worked your whole life to create. So, if your heart says yes, make sure your finances say, "I'm protected." Number 2, health responsibility overload. When you remarry after 70, you're not just opening your heart to someone new, you're also stepping into their world of health, habits, and possible medical challenges. At this stage of life, health isn't a background issue anymore, it's something that shapes every day, from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed. You may already be managing your own health routines, medications, doctor visits, dietary restrictions, or the occasional ache and pain that reminds you of the years behind you. Now imagine suddenly becoming responsible for another person's medical needs on top of your own. What begins as a small act of love, like helping them remember their pills or driving them to an appointment, can slowly grow into a full-time responsibility that drains your energy and spirit. It might start with little things, helping them up the stairs or reminding them to rest, but as time passes, that little help can turn into daily caregiving. Lifting, cooking special meals, handling medications, staying up through the night when they're unwell, and somewhere along the way, you forget to take care of yourself. Your own health starts to fade quietly in the background. Studies have shown that older caregivers often skip their own checkups, neglect exercise, and develop anxiety or depression simply because they are too busy or too tired to focus on themselves. Patricia, a 76-year-old woman I once met at a senior center, remarried because she wanted companionship and laughter in her final years. Her new husband was kind and funny, and at first, it felt like a dream. But just a year later, he suffered a mild stroke, and her days quickly changed. She became his caregiver, lifting him, bathing him, organizing medications, all while ignoring her worsening knee pain and poor eyesight. Within months, her joy was replaced by exhaustion, and her spirit dimmed under the constant weight of responsibility. It wasn't that she didn't love him, it was that she no longer had anything left for herself. And that's the hard truth, as much as love motivates us to help, you can't pour from an empty cup. After 70, your energy is sacred. You've already spent decades caring for others, your spouse, your children, your family, and now this chapter of your life should be about caring for you. Before remarrying, ask yourself, do you have the physical, emotional, and mental strength to take on someone else's health journey as well as your own? It's not selfish to hesitate, it's wise. Because peace, rest, and self-care are not luxuries in your later years, they are your foundation. Love is a wonderful thing, but without boundaries, it can become a burden that slowly steals your well-being. Guard your health tenderly, because it's the one thing you can't rebuild once it's gone. Number 3, legal complications ***. One of the biggest and most overlooked dangers of remarrying after 70 isn't emotional, it's legal. Many seniors step into a new marriage full of hope, unaware that a simple, "I do," can completely reshape their legal and financial world. You might think, I already have a will, everything is in order, but once you remarry, many of those documents can lose their power or be overridden by new laws that automatically give your spouse certain rights. In many states and countries, a new husband or wife has a legal claim to a large portion of your estate, even if your will says something different. That means your adult children or grandchildren, the people you've worked your whole life to protect and provide for, could end up receiving far less than you intended, or worse, be locked in painful legal battles after you're gone. It's not that anyone plans for conflict, but remarriage often creates a tangle of emotions, expectations, and paperwork that can easily spiral into confusion. Imagine having a modest home, a pension, and some savings you've carefully built. You think your family knows your wishes, but after remarriage, everything changes automatically in the eyes of the law. Your new spouse may now have legal authority in ways you didn't expect, from financial matters to medical decisions if something happens to you. If you become ill or unable to speak for yourself, your new partner might be the one doctors listen to, even if your children know your true wishes. For many families, this becomes heartbreaking, especially when they realize too late that legal power shifted without discussion. Carol, an 81-year-old widow, remarried a kind man she met at her local church. She thought they'd share peaceful companionship in their final years. But when she fell ill, her daughter discovered that her new stepfather had full decision-making authority, and the choices he made went against everything Carol had once expressed to her family. The result was a painful court battle and years of bitterness between loved ones. It's a story more common than most realize. Beyond that, remarriage can affect Social Security or pension benefits, especially for widows or widowers who depend on survivor income from a previous spouse. Many older women have unknowingly given up this vital support after remarrying, only realizing their mistake when the check stopped coming. These legal complications can lead to stress, guilt, and emotional pain that overshadow the happiness a marriage was supposed to bring. That's why clarity and preparation are so important before saying, "I do," again. It's not unromantic to talk about legal matters, it's responsible and loving, both for yourself and for your family. Before remarrying, make sure your will, power of attorney, and beneficiary designations are updated and protected by law. Love in your later years can be beautiful, but it should never come at the cost of confusion, conflict, or broken family bonds. True wisdom is not in avoiding love, but in protecting peace for yourself and those you love most. Number 4, loss of personal freedom ***. After 70, one of the most precious gifts you finally earn is freedom, the ability to live at your own pace, make your own choices, and simply be yourself without compromise. You've likely spent decades putting others first, raising children, maintaining a household, supporting a spouse, or working tirelessly to make ends meet. Retirement and later life are meant to be your time, a season of peace, self-discovery, and calm. But when you remarry at this stage, that hard-earned independence can quietly start to slip away. Suddenly, there's someone else whose opinions, habits, and needs begin to shape your daily routine. You might find yourself adjusting your meals, your bedtime, your finances, or even your friendships to keep the relationship balanced. It may not happen overnight, it starts small. Maybe your partner doesn't like your favorite TV show, or wants to move closer to their family, or prefers a different way of spending weekends. At first, you compromise because you care. But slowly, you realize that the freedom you once cherished is fading. You can't just decide to visit an old friend, take a trip, or spend a quiet day alone without explaining yourself or considering someone else's feelings. And while companionship brings comfort, it also brings responsibility and expectation, things that can weigh heavily when your spirit craves peace. Many seniors underestimate how much they value solitude until it's gone. Living alone doesn't mean being lonely, it can mean living on your own terms, surrounded by your memories, your rhythm, and your quiet joys. After remarriage, even simple routines like reading before bed or taking a morning walk can feel disrupted by another person's preferences. For some, it leads to silent frustration, the feeling of being trapped in a life that's no longer their own. I once spoke with an older man named Harold who remarried at 74 after losing his wife. He loved his new partner deeply, but within a year, he confessed, "I feel like I lost my peace. I thought I was gaining companionship, but now every day feels like I'm asking for permission to live my life." That honest admission holds a truth many can relate to. Freedom isn't about being selfish, it's about being able to breathe without guilt, to rest without pressure, and to live without having to constantly adjust who you are. At 70 and beyond, peace of mind becomes more valuable than anything money or romance can offer. Love at this stage should add joy, not take away the serenity you've earned through a lifetime of effort and endurance. Before remarrying, ask yourself honestly, are you ready to share your time, space, and choices again? Because once you do, the life that belongs entirely to you may no longer be fully yours. Sometimes, the most loving choice is to protect your freedom, the quiet, beautiful independence that keeps your soul truly at ease. Number 5, financial entanglement. Money can be one of the most sensitive and complicated parts of remarriage after 70. At this stage of life, finances are rarely simple. There are pensions, savings, inheritances, insurance policies, and sometimes debts or ongoing family obligations. When you remarry, all these things can suddenly become tangled in ways you didn't expect. What once felt clear and secure can quickly turn confusing and stressful. You may find yourself sharing bank accounts, property, or financial decisions with someone whose habits, values, or family priorities are very different from your own. Maybe your new spouse likes to spend more freely, while you've spent your life saving carefully. Or perhaps they have children who expect financial help, leaving you caught between loyalty and guilt. These situations can lead to tension, resentment, and even heartbreak, not because of greed, but because of misunderstanding and misplaced trust. Imagine a woman who has worked hard all her life, building a modest nest egg to leave for her children. After remarrying, she might decide to open a joint account out of love and fairness. But what if her new spouse falls ill and medical bills begin to pile up? Suddenly, her lifetime of savings can be drained to cover expenses she never planned for, leaving little behind for her own needs or family. Or imagine a man who sells his house to move in with his new wife, assuming everything will stay equal, only to discover later that her name alone is on the property deed. Life can change quickly, and without clear agreements, one partner can easily end up financially vulnerable. It's not about mistrust, it's about awareness. After 70, there's no shame in protecting what you've built. You've worked for decades, faced hardships, raised families, and earned every bit of security you have. That stability deserves to be safeguarded. The sad truth is that many seniors don't realize how one signature or shared account can alter their entire financial future. Even small decisions, like adding someone's name to your will or pension, can have lasting consequences that are hard to undo. Beyond the paperwork, financial entanglement also carries emotional weight. It can cause strain between children and stepfamilies, especially when money gets mixed with love. Adult children may fear being cut out, while the new spouse may feel excluded, creating a quiet divide that lingers under the surface. Before remarrying, it's essential to have open, honest discussions about money, not out of suspicion, but out of mutual respect. Separate accounts, clear legal documents, and transparent plans can protect both partners and preserve peace in the relationship. True love at this age should bring comfort, not confusion, security, not stress. Protecting your finances doesn't mean you don't trust your partner, it means you value both your independence and your legacy. Because in the golden years, financial peace isn't just about money, it's about keeping your dignity, your stability, and your ability to live the rest of your life with calm, confidence, and care. Number 6. Emotional cost and the quiet regret. When people think about remarriage after 70, they often picture companionship, laughter, and shared moments that fill the silence of lonely days. And yes, love at this age can be beautiful, it can feel like a second chance at happiness. But what many don't realize is that sometimes, behind those smiles and gestures of affection, there hides a deep emotional cost, one that creeps in quietly over time. The truth is, blending two lives, two histories, and two sets of expectations at an older age is rarely simple. You're not just joining hearts, you're merging pasts filled with memories, habits, and invisible scars. After years of living independently, you've built your own peace, your own rhythm, and a way of life that finally feels like you. But remarriage can suddenly stir old emotions, jealousy, guilt, or even a sense of losing control over your own space and decisions. It can feel like giving up part of your identity to fit into someone else's world again. You may find yourself missing your quiet mornings, your old home, or the freedom to simply do things your own way without explaining or compromising. And while you may love your new partner, there can still be moments when you sit in silence, wondering if you made the right choice. That's the quiet regret many seniors never talk about, the ache of realizing that love, at this stage, can sometimes bring more emotional exhaustion than peace. I once met a gentle man named Arthur, who remarried at 78 after years of loneliness. He said he just wanted someone to talk to, someone to share meals with. But 2 years later, he confessed that he missed his solitude more than he expected. He said, "I traded my loneliness for companionship, but I also lost the calm that kept me grounded." Those words carry a heavy truth. Emotional peace, once lost, is hard to regain. Sometimes, small disagreements or lifestyle differences can feel much bigger in older age, not because of anger, but because your tolerance for chaos and emotional strain naturally fades. You begin to value serenity more than conversation, and stillness more than togetherness. And when that balance tips, even love can start to feel heavy. The emotional cost of remarriage isn't just about conflict, it's about the quiet sacrifice of the simple, steady peace you once had. And that regret doesn't always scream, it whispers softly in the back of your mind, in the moments when you wish you could just be by yourself again. That's why before remarrying, it's important to ask not just, do I love this person, but also, will this love bring me peace? Because at 70 and beyond, peace is not just a desire, it's a necessity. True wisdom is knowing that sometimes, it's okay to choose stillness over companionship, and solitude over shared chaos. Love should lift your heart, not weigh it down. Remarrying after 70 is not wrong, but it's a decision that deserves deep thought, honesty, and self-awareness. At this stage of life, peace, health, and emotional balance matter far more than romance or social expectations. Companionship can be beautiful, but only if it adds calmness, security, and mutual respect to your days. Never rush into marriage just to escape loneliness, because loneliness fades when you learn to love your own company, but regret lasts when you lose your peace. Protect your heart, your health, your freedom, and the quiet joy you've worked your whole life to find. True love in your later years should feel light, not heavy, peaceful, not demanding. So, take your time, listen to your inner voice, and make choices that honor your well-being first, because you've earned that right. If you found this message helpful and it touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path for more heartfelt stories, life lessons, and guidance for living wisely and peacefully after 60. Tap the like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and let us know in the comments, what do you believe matters most in love after 70?